presentation by the Greater Canton Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, the 29th presentation of the annual Mayor's Breakfast. We are excited this morning to be here, and we are excited that our presenters and awardees are here with us. Unfortunately, others of you could not be here because of the pandemic, but we are going forward in faith anyhow. And thank God for the wonderful privilege to be here. And we have an exciting program in store for us this morning. And so we want you to be comfortable. We want you to sit back and be blessed by the presentation today. And as we consider our purpose for being here, to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., how his impact on us is still effective today. And we continue to go forward in the legacy, and we continue to hold high the banner for peace and justice. I will give the invocation. Unfortunately, Rabbi David Komorowski was unavailable this morning, and then after that, we will sing the Negro anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. We will be led in it by Ms. Keitha Brown. Let's pray. God our Father, we are thankful for the wonderful privilege that you have given us to gather in this place at this time. We gather that we might reflect and celebrate the life of a servant that you sent to us, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as we continue in the legacy, and we've gathered at this point in time, I pray that your presence, participation, and power will be manifested in our midst even right now. I pray that you'll bless the food that we're about to receive, and then our bodies as we receive it, that we might be strengthened, nourished, and encouraged on the journey. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Would you stand, please, for the rendering of the Negro National Anthem?
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on until victory is one. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of a bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God and true to our native land.
We want to thank Ms. Keitha Brown for sharing with us in the singing of the Negro anthem, and thank all of you for your participation. As chairman of the Greater Canton Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, it affords me a great privilege to be able to share in the overview of the commission. And for those of you who have programs, you will see our mission statement there and accompanied by bullets. And among those bullets, there is one that says support ideals of peace and justice for all, which is something that all of us seek to achieve and we aspire to, peace and justice. And I want to focus on the for all. We are living in a society that is becoming progressively more selfish and self-centered. And as you know, Dr. King's life was that of one who had become and was becoming even more selfless. He gave up many of his self-interests so that he could help and make it better for other people. I think all of us, as I've said, wants to have peace and justice in our lives. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way for everyone. And there are peoples and groups of peoples who struggle to have peace and to get justice. One of the important principles upon we who are the commission stand is that of peace and justice for all, particularly for the voiceless, those whose voices are faint and cannot be heard by the powers that be. And there's a lot of people that are in pain and that are hurting and that have struggles in their individual lives and even collectively with their family and their particular community. And it takes all of us to recognize, first of all, that we are not in this situation by ourselves. There are the least among us, and there are the voiceless among us who need support, who need others to come along beside them and champion their cause as well, because our cause is something that is pervasive throughout not only the nation, but throughout the world. People all over the nation, all over the world, want individually peace and justice. Unfortunately, there are those evil forces that, because of their own selfishness and self-centeredness, make it difficult for others. And the rest of us have to come along beside them because we have to take interest in the lives of others. No one is an island. All of us are in it together. And when we work together, when we serve together, when we take an interest in each other, not to be repelled by one's religion, by one's race, ethnicity, by one's gender, by one's ideals. When we come together and knock down those barriers, we can make it better for so many people. And so we, the commission, have committed ourselves to trying to make a difference in the lives of others, particularly those that are the least among us and those who are the least fortunate. God is the God of everyone, and he stands even especially for the least among us. So step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your selfishness, if you will, and lend a hand to someone. And you never know how much better you can make it, not only for another person or persons, but for our society altogether. Amen? Thank you so much. At this time, we will have some welcoming remarks from the mayor of the great city of Canton, Ohio, or might I say, the great mayor of the city of Canton, Ohio, Mayor Thomas Burnaby of the city of Canton.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to those who are here alive and in person, and welcome to all of you who are here and joining us remotely. On behalf of the City of Canton and my fellow mayors, and they are from Alliance, Mayor Alan Adriani, from Canal Fulton, Mayor Joe Schultz, from East Canton, Mayor Kathy or Kathleen Almasy, from Louisville, Patricia Fallett, from Massillon, Mayor Kathy Catazero Perry, go Bulldogs, Kathy, and from North Canton, Mayor Stephen Wilder. I and we welcome all of you to the Downtown Canton Doubletree by Hilton and to the Martin Luther King Commission's 29th Annual Mayor's Breakfast. We thank all of you for joining us on this very celebrated occasion. This year, we commemorate the 54th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. In these 54 years, we have witnessed immeasurable progress in achieving Dr. King's goals for social justice, for economic equity, educational equality, and nonviolence. At the same time, this year's theme, In Unity, Inseparable, recognizes the many current challenges to that progress. We are all well aware of them. The challenges to Dr. King's dream. There is still so very much work to do. There can be no pause. And we, the mayors of Stark County, join all citizens of Stark County in achieving those goals. Please join me in recognizing the Martin Luther King Jr.'s Commission for its continuing work to promote social justice, economic equity, educational equality, and nonviolence for the citizens of Canton and Stark County. We welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're always appreciative of your participation with us. You have been supportive, and you continue to be that, and for that, we are grateful. At this time, we are also fortunate to have as one of our commissioners, we're fortunate to have all of our commissioners, but one of our commissioners is State Representative Mr. Thomas West. He will come right now and recognize elected officials, sponsors, and churches. Mr. West.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is one of my favorite days. Out of all the commissions and all the committees that we serve on each and every year, this particular commission and this particular day has very special meaning to me. Martin Luther King is one of our greatest leaders. And when we talk about elected officials, I always ask the question, is why did Martin not run for office? Why didn't he run as the president of the United States? Could you just only imagine what our world would be today? So today I just want to, again, welcome all of our elected officials. Each and every year, Stark County elected officials, they come out and they support this event each and every year. This year, I'm told that we also have both candidates that are also participating that is running for our governor office. That tells you that this event has continued to grow. To our state senator, Senator Sykes, who is one of the oldest members in our Ohio Legislative Black Caucus, is here today. So I am very excited to hear what he has to say today, but also to continue to work with him on his leadership in the State House. Also, let me mention from every level, from city council to county commissioner to state level to federal level, we just want to welcome you all. And I would be remiss if I did not also acknowledge our churches. Our churches each and every year support this event, and I just am thrilled that they continue to come back each and every year as well. Now, we could not do this, and we could not provide the scholarships for the endowment, and we could not continue to put dollars in there and put dollars in education if it was not for our sponsors. We have our title sponsors this year, Employers Health, who came back, again, was a title sponsor last year. We have Chris Goff in the room, and we are so thankful for your support. We have Shears this year also as a title sponsor, and we have Kim Davenport in the room today for Shears. And you know, I can't get by without a week if I didn't have my potato chips. We have the VIP reception sponsor, and that was SARTA. And we want to thank SARTA for their participation each and every year. This next category, racial harmony, equity, economic and general wealth sponsors. The city of Canton, who is, again, the Mayor's Breakfast, you just heard from the mayor. And let me back up for a minute. Not only do we have Tom Burnaby in the room, but we also have Fonda Williams, Deputy Mayor, who has, again, led this community for a lot of years and will be stepping down at the end of the month, I believe. But we want to give him thanks for all the work that he has done in our community. Let me go back and talk about economic general wealth and sponsorship. That was the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce, who have done so much in the area of making certain that we have minority inclusion, and has really stepped up over the last few years in making certain that we make that happen right here in Stark County. CSE Credit Union, another sponsor that has been with us for a long time and continues to come back each and every year. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, they are all our economic general wealth sponsors. We also have the Racial Harmony sponsor and Community Behavioral Health sponsor, and that is with Stark County Mental Health and Addiction Recovery Board, and they have been with us in the past and again today. To our nonviolent sponsors and education sponsors, and that's Huntington, Stark County Educational Service Center, and PNC. Again, those individuals have been with us before, and we appreciate their sponsorships again this year. The service community sponsors, and that is HP Products, Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospital, State Support Team, Stark County Community Action Agency, Charter Communication, and Habitat for Humanity. Again, the service to our community, and you will see those names always in the area of service community. And finally, we have our community sponsor, and that's Magnet, or a new sponsor, and we thank them for also joining the MLK mission to make certain that we continue to press our community forward with racial inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative West. We appreciate all of your participation and influence, and our sponsors and others. We are more than grateful. At this time, we have two of our title sponsors here with us from 2021 and 2022, and that is representing Shears Corporation, Mr. Mlk Mayors for 2021, and for 2022, representing Employers Health, Mr. Chris Goff. If they will come at this time and share a few words with us, we certainly will be delighted.
Does this work? It does? Okay, great. Representative West, you mentioned your weekly potato chip consumption requirements. We suggest daily at Shears, so that's a shameless plug. Good morning, it's great to be here, and on behalf of Shears, we're thrilled to be part of this great event. I want to congratulate the MLK Commission of Stark County on your 29th anniversary on this year's scholarship winners. Shears is really proud to be part of the MLK Commission to promote the teachings of Dr. King and to support kids on their quest for higher education, which is a bit of a perfect segue for a little bit of a shameless promotion. We at Shears, we're the largest co-manufacturer of salty snacks, cookies, and crackers in North America. We employ almost 4,500 employees. We have 16 manufacturing facilities across the country, and we're a great place to work. And we want you. We want your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, that brother that maybe, has lost his way. Send him to us and we'll give him a job. We are a culture that likes to win. One of our core values is you can make an impact. And I think that would be close to Dr. King's heart. An impact on the community, an impact on fellow employees, an impact on our customers. We have job openings right now, 567 of them. Okay? We have 1,100 employees within 25 miles of right here, and we can absorb 300 more folks. So I'm looking at all the younger faces in the room. If you are looking for a job, www.shears.com. Accounting interns, food technologists, material handlers, packers, processors, commercializations, corporate accountants, maintenance technicians, sanitation, potentially a president after this presentation. But honestly, we're a great place to work, competitive benefits, a great culture, and we'd love to see you. So thank you for allowing me to shamelessly promote jobs in our business, but honestly, it's great to be part of this great event. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And I want to thank the commission as well for putting together a great program today. I wish we could all be together, but we'll look forward to that again next year. As Representative West mentioned, this is the second time that Employers Health has been a title sponsor for this event. This event is near and dear to me, as well as some other things. And for those of you who might be watching from your office or your home, we've got a great program here, and there are a couple things I just want to point out in this program that are also near and dear to me. One is the black and white ball. It's coming up at the end of February, February 28th, right here. I've been coming to this event for many years, and I want to share a story with you. The first one that I attended, it'll take you back a few years because Steve Perry was the then CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The benefit to me was that Steve was also the MC of the event, and he and I were bidding against one another for this particular photograph. This photograph hangs in my office today. It's a photo of the then all living presidents of the United States with their signatures under the photo. the benefit to me and the detriment to Steve is Steve had to leave the bidding because he had to MC the program, and I got to buy the portrait. The other thing I want to plug that's in this program today is Project Blueprint. And many of you are aware of Project Blueprint, but some of you may not. And it is a leadership program sponsored by United Way to help prepare the up and rising Black community leaders. And this is something that Employers Health feels very strongly about. We support it financially. And I hope that many of you in the Black community will look at this program and become a participant. I want to just end by saying, again, thank you to the Commission for picking two great speakers. One I know well, one I just met this morning, but know by reputation. And I'm encouraged that we'll hear some good information from those speakers today. So on behalf of Employers Health, and before I finish, I just want to acknowledge one person in the room today who I did not know until I sat down at my place setting today, who's going to be awarded an award, and that's Joe Chaddock. So congratulations, Joe. Joe serves on our board of directors and is the chairman of our board. So I know we're going to be hearing from him later today, but I just wanted to give him some special acknowledgement on behalf of the corporation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil and Goff. We are indebted to you because of your commitment, again, to making a difference. And we appreciate your participation with us across the years, and we look to further the relationship. And I am especially impressed with the fact that you are doing more than just talking. You're making real opportunities available for people, and that's very important. So again, we, the commission, we thank you. At this time, another commissioner is going to come and recognize the schools and the all-in students, and that is Commissioner Andrea Perry. And following that, there will be a musical selection by Dejan Dickerson Jr. of Enrichment.
Thank you, Pastor Arrington. Good morning. At this time, we would like to welcome all of our students and school districts attending. We are pleased to welcome the students who are participating in the All-In Student Academy. The All-In initiative promotes awareness and appreciation for all students, regardless of their diverse learning needs, economic status, gender, race, religion, sexual identity, cultural background, or language. Participating students learn about themselves and others while developing personal and team strategies to give a voice to all students in their schools. Students gain skills to help them positively impact their community and ensure equity and inclusiveness in their schools. Team members in the All-In Student Academy collaborate with peers and engage in authentic community-based activities. Thank you to our community for your generosity in supporting the attendance of all students joining us this year. And a special thanks to our students for their allyship and carrying forward Dr. King's dream. Thank you.
Good evening, good morning. I'll be was born by the river in a little tento, and just like that river I've been running. I've been busy ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes it will. I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh yes it will. Then I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there's been times that I thought I wouldn't last for long, but now I know I'm able to carry. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh yes it will.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Dejan Dickerson Jr., and he's representative of the standard, quality standard that enrichment has set. And so, shearers or employers' health, if you ever need a singer, he's right there. He's right there. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you again so kindly for that. This time we're going to have two more commissioners come. That's Miss Commissioner Angelina Moody and Agatha Johnston. Latrice Verola instead of Commissioner Moody. They're coming at this time.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're going to be presenting the awards to the scholarship recipients. So I'm going to be reading off your names, and if you could please come up when I read off your name. The first one I have is Kira Collins from Perry High School. Kira is currently taking college credit plus classes at Stark State College. She plans on continuing at Stark State, majoring in psychology and graphic design. Next, we have Dante Mustin, who goes to Glen Oak. Dante has been accepted to and will be attending the Ohio State University, majoring in psychology. Dante is not present today. Mackenzie Mack goes to Glen Oak High School. Mackenzie plans to attend The Ohio State University and major in broadcast journalism. Next, we have Morgan Hanna, who goes to Mascon High School. Morgan has been accepted to the University of Finland and will be studying pharmacy. Next, we have Rain Rushman, goes to Canton South High School. Rain is a member of the National Honor Society and will be attending Altman College, majoring in radiography. Next, we have Nevaeh Simmons, goes to McKinley High School. Nevaeh is undecided about where she will be attending school, but does plan on majoring in law enforcement. And I don't think she's here this morning. And next we have Maja Moss, goes to Jackson High School. Maja plans on attending the University of Pittsburgh and double majoring in neuroscience and Spanish. Congratulations to all of our scholarship winners.
Let's give them another round of applause, would you please? Thank you so kindly. At this time, we will have the presentation of the Martin Luther King Jr. Service Awards. And Commissioner Leslie Warren and Commissioner Viola Fisher, they will come and share with us the service awards.
Good morning. The 2022 Service Awards, Dwayne Wyckoff for Religious. Kenny Peterson for the Business Award. I don't believe he's present. We have Joe Chaddock for Education. And Regina's Winton Drive for Community. Thank you.
Come on, let's give them another round of applause. And you see the gentleman that's moving around with the camera, that's Mr. Harvey Walker. He is also a commissioner, and he does a wonderful job in capturing events like this. And so we are thankful for that. This next award is a very special award, not that the others are not, but this award is the Spirit Award. And the Spirit Award, as you'll see in our mission statement, focuses in and appreciates those who reflect the practices, the principles, the teaching, and the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And what I want to do at this time, and you'll get an opportunity to see all of the commissioners, if all of the commissioners would come forward at this time, so that when we present this award, we present this award as a collective group to this next individual. So if all of the commissioners would come forward here, we want to say a very special thank you to this person here. Allow me to read this, and I'll start with the mission of the Greater Canton Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission is to mobilize the community to emulate the philosophy, teachings, practices, and spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., to promote racial harmony and bring about progressive systemic change. And here on January the 13th, 2022, it gives us a great deal of privilege and pleasure to present this award to Mr. Leonard D. Stevens. Those of you who know the commission and have been around, you know that Leonard has been an integral part of what the commission has done. And so we want to say to him, don't drop that. Thank you, man. Thank you. We appreciate you. We congratulate you. And no one more fitting today than Mr. Leonard Stevens, who is no stranger to the commission or the city of Canton or Stark County or Ohio or the world. Thank you so kindly. Give him another round of applause, would you please? One more time, Leonard Stevens. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we're moving right along here. This year, we have a variation in our presentation, and we're excited about it because of what it really means. And as I said, it's a deviation from what we are normally used to, course. Virtually everything that we're doing is a deviation from what we are normally used to. But I want to bring, and let me say a word about this person that will take over and make the presentation for our panel discussion. This person, who is a commissioner, is the chairperson for the breakfast. And I just want to say publicly how much of a champion she is in moving us forward, particularly over the last couple of years. Last year, obviously, we did not have the breakfast, but the year before, and she is a goal getter. Say amen. And she has been impactful on the commission, and so she is going to facilitate this phase of our program this morning. And I am excited because she is who she is and she does what she does. And so she will come now, and it is Commissioner Krista L. Allison, and she will come and facilitate our conversation on in unity. She will share with us and take over the program. So come on, Miss Krista, give her a hand while she comes.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you again for joining the 29th Annual Mayor's Breakfast. It's with great privilege and honor that I stand here on behalf of my fellow commissioners, and thank you so much, Dr. Reverend Walter Arrington, for being our chairperson as well as our MC. We're actually back home in one of our first areas where the Mayor's Breakfast was held. So this is really an honor, and it's historical too. So give yourselves a round of applause. And so we're moving into something a little different today. And so you'll see on the stage 2 chairs, minus a fireplace, but it's going to get a little cozy in here. And so for those of you joining us virtually, we thank you for joining us virtually. For those of you that are here in the room that have received awards, we want to congratulate you. But now we're going to turn it over and hear from just two eloquent speakers who have been champions in our community, both not only here in Stark County, but statewide and nationally. First up, I'd like to introduce our Ohio State Senator, Senator Dr. Vernon Sykes, to the stage. Please welcome him. Senator Sykes is serving his 2nd term in the Ohio State Senate after holding positions at the Ohio House of Representatives and Akron City Council. Senator Sykes represents the 28th District, and so we'll be talking with him a little bit more. Second, I'd like to welcome one of our hometown favorites, Edward Roth III. Can I say the third? Give him a round of applause. Ed Roth is the President Emeritus of Altman Health Foundation from 2001 to 2021. Ed served as the President and CEO of Altman Health Foundation, a not-for-profit healthcare organization serving Stark and surrounding counties in Ohio. Altman Health Foundation includes Altman Hospital, Altman Specialty Hospital, Altman Alliance Community Hospital, Altman Orville Hospital, AltCare Healthcare Plans, Altman College, Independent Health Collaborative, Altman Medical Group, and a wide array of outpatient service, post-acute care services, and physician practices. So, ladies and gentlemen and students, those of you that are joining us virtually, as well as those that are in the room, once again, a round of applause for our esteemed guests. Now, gentlemen, there are mics sitting right next to you. If you could please make sure you turn those on. We'll make sure that we do a quick mic check. They're already on. Beautiful. Thank you. And again, this is a little different, but we are prepared. We've practiced, everyone. All right. So first up, get comfortable. Get comfortable. There's a pillow behind you. Yeah, just get comfortable. Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. All right. First question for you. In what has been called an indisputable classic and published in the 1960s, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s book, Why We Can't Wait, contains the following quote describing our 29th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Mayor's Breakfast: "In unity, inseparable." Dr. King states, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." The question for both of you is this: do you agree? And once you respond to that, if so, how has this impacted your past work, current work, and future?
Thank you so much for having this opportunity to be here. I am inspired, particularly with Mr. Dickerson's song. You know, it just reminds me of who I am and where I come from. And so thank you so much for that inspiration to just get us started out today. Yes, I do agree with the supposition, but I'd like to talk about why. And one of the reasons why, it has to do with some of my preparation. You know, I have a master's in social and applied economics, and we learn how what benefits the individual also benefits the larger society. In fact, society's prosperity is gauged by aggregating the well-being of individuals. Any weak link is expensive to all of us. And that's why discrimination is so destructive to our society and the well-being, really, of everyone. And I like to give an example of that that we experienced in Summit County. The Chamber of Commerce and the mayor and the county executive put together a study, a commission to look at how they can improve economic development, job growth in the greater Akron area. And they worked with some researchers associated with the Brookings Institute in Washington, D.C., and they can spend several months, a couple of years, looking at what problems and issues there were with economic development in the greater Akron area. And they had several, maybe 4 or 5 findings and 4 or 5 recommendations. And one of the critical findings was that historically, in the city of Akron, greater Akron, the minority community has been systematically excluded from economic development activity. And that this is a major, major problem, because how can you promote economic development for the community when you exclude 30% of the population as African American in the Akron area? And so one of the major conclusions and recommendations was you had to go out and be clear about inclusion. You have to include, because it's not just for the benefit of the haves, it's for everyone. It's for everyone. And so it's so important for us. After that, they made a recommendation. They contacted me as a state senator and made some recommendations for some minority business enterprise legislation in the state. And I reached over to my partner, Kurt Scheuring, senator here in Stark County, and we jointly sponsored Senate Bill 105 to promote economic development opportunities for minority businesses in the state of Ohio. It was approved unanimously on the Senate floor and unanimously on the House floor, and we're just waiting for final approval coming soon. So that is an example how it's important for us to work together. It's our common interest that will help us maximize the productivity of our community.
Thank you.
I should have went first. Great words, Senator. And also, your husband called me and said to remember to bring the chairs home, Krista.
I have the 4x4. We're ready.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today on this wonderful celebration. And even though we're virtual, we do have enough people in the room to make it seem that we do have a good representation here on the inside. This particular quote kind of rang true with me when I really got involved in leadership. And I'll speak today more so from the job I've had for the last 21 years. And I'm unemployed, Mr. McKinney, so I may be reaching out to you for a job at Shears since I'm not working at this point in time. Yes. But I kind of latched on to a quote years ago by Jackie Robinson where he said that our lives are not important except for the impact that we have on other people's lives. And if you think of this idea of how things are all together, for me, it's really about the opportunities that we have as individuals to every day have an opportunity to make a difference for another person.
We have to be intentional about that. We can't just say that. We can't just say that, we can make a difference. Senator Sykes talked about a difference that he saw a problem, and he makes a difference by taking action. We encourage our caregivers to do that inside our organizations because we want to be sure that that patient or that student, and where's Rain? Is Rain still here? Thank you for choosing Altman College, and I wish you the best as you work through your studies there. The idea that you can make that difference means you have to be intentional about that. You have to take that step. And I'll give you just a very quick story. I had a rule when I got my job as a CEO that we put in place that we said it's the 10 and 5 rule, that within 10 feet of seeing another person, you should make eye contact, and within 5 feet, you should greet them. And that's something that we try to really work through the organization. Not everybody does it that way, but certainly I tried to live up to it. And so I would say good morning to people, how's your day going, things like that. And it became a little robotic in some senses. But one day I passed a gentleman named Ed, same name as myself, and I said, good morning, Ed, and he said, good morning, and he just walked past me, and normally he would give me something back. He'd give me a little cheer back. And he didn't that day, and I kept walking, and I stopped, and I realized that there was a problem. So I turned around and went back, tapped him on the elbow, and I said, Ed, what's going on? And he said, my son's been in a car accident, and he's in South Carolina in a hospital, and we don't know anything about what's going on. We can't leave our jobs here. His wife worked for Altman also. We can't leave our jobs, and we can't go down there, and no one will return a call. I said, what hospital? I found out the name of the hospital. I said, come back to my office. We're going to call the CEO. We called the CEO of the hospital. Within 5 minutes, he had a nurse from the intensive care unit on the phone with Ed, telling him that his son was doing okay and he would be fine until they got there that weekend. So what I'm saying is you have to be intentional. It isn't enough to just say good morning and hello. Sometimes you have to read the person on the other side of that greeting and know when to take a step. And so from a personal standpoint, I think these things are intertwined. And every action that we take all throughout the day, all throughout the week and the month is important to someone else.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you, Mr. Roth, for those, because what we heard you say is that there is a connection. We have to be intentional, and we see something, we must do something. So second question for both of you. As a servant leader, you have spent your lives serving the public and common good, from healthcare and workforce development, Mr. Roth, to you, Senator Sykes, education, redistricting, supporting small businesses, and economic development. Both of you are fighting the good fight, and I would imagine are getting into good trouble. Dr. King stated in his 1963 I Have a Dream speech that we cannot walk alone. And in his 1957 sermon in Montgomery, Alabama, he stated, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? When we think about our current environment, first question, how have you navigated the path of servant leadership? And second question, what are your thoughts about how we can embrace servant leadership regardless of our title, position, career, or age? This time, we'll start with Mr. Roth.
Thank you. Well, I certainly believe in the term and the concept of servant leadership. I've tried to follow that throughout my life. I learned that from my parents. Our family had a family drugstore just a few blocks down the road at the corner of Navarre Avenue and South Market. And I learned from my father, working in his drugstore, the opportunity to kind of be that servant leader, to make sure that, again, that the customer's needs and that the people's needs were met. And it really creates a relationship between the customer and the organization. And so certainly in healthcare, we aren't just taking care of people. We really are forming relationships with those patients who might be in the hospital for maybe just for an hour for a radiography exam, or maybe for weeks. And so I think this concept can't just be one person. You have to try to get other people to catch on to servant leadership. So we've done that in our organization by encouraging our team members, our leadership team members, to become involved in the community. We have about 70 executives within Altman Health Foundation, in all the hospitals and services that Krista mentioned in the introduction. And so we ask those people not only to serve in their jobs, but also to be on boards in the community, be involved in programs and different opportunities. And so I think as a servant leader, you have to encourage others to be the same, to be a servant leader themselves, and really create a culture inside your organization that allows people the time and ability to be able to do that. And I think everyone can adopt the servant leader mentality. And it's not a soft mentality. I had someone say, well, servant leaders are softies. They can't make good decisions. You can't be a CEO and be a servant leader. I would say you can't be a CEO if you're not a servant leader. If you're not serving the people that work for you, if you don't love those people and what they do, you can't lead an organization. And it's the same way if you're a department head or just a family member. Servant leadership is about making sure that others have access to your good things and you have access to theirs. And so we encourage our team members to do that. I think we've been fairly successful with it, but we do feel it's important. Thank you.
We're going to have to cut your time out. You talk too long. Well, let me say that, you know, I didn't start out even wanting to be a servant leader. I had been poor, and when I went to Ohio University, I majored in business administration because I thought that's where the money was, and that's where I wanted to be. And when I got out of school, my first job was working at an economic development program, but I had an opportunity to get an advancement to make a little bit more money. I became a planner in a commission in the county. And as this planner, I worked with a board. It was a federal board. It was requirement that all 30 of the members be elected officials. So I got a chance to interact with city council members, state representatives, mayors, county commissioners, township trustees. And in it, I started to recognize and identify that in my academic training in business and my professional experience now in the public sector, that in our representative democracy, we delegate the power to control, to rule, to make decisions to a select group. This select group is the people's choice. On the private side, you've got the corporation, and they select the board of directors. On the public side, you've got elections, and we elect people to city council, state representatives, state senators, congresspersons. And so I had to make a decision. I was at the crossroads of where I was going to be, try to make money for myself or to serve people. By getting exposure to these 30 elected officials, I learned what they do and how important it is. And then more importantly, I learned the best way I could maximize my own career and advance the interests of the community was to become one of them. So I picked one out and I ran against them. I became successful in 1979 in city council, and I've served 2 terms. I've served 26 years in the House, and now my 5th year in the Senate. I am a professor emeritus from Kent State University, where I directed a internship program, brought students to Columbus, and actually taught them about state government. Did that for 19 years. And so my life career has been in this general area, public service and the servant leader. And I would encourage all of the youth to look at the possibility of maybe serving the public in some way. We all serve the public, whether it's a private sector job or a public sector job, you're still providing service to the public. And so we must conduct ourselves accordingly.
Thank you. Question number 3. In 1983, Coretta Scott King provided a vision in the Washington Post of how the holiday honoring her husband should be observed. She stated, "The holiday must be substantive as well as symbolic. It must be more than a day of celebration. Let this holiday be a day of reflection, a day of teaching nonviolent philosophy and strategy, a day of getting involved in nonviolent action for social and economic progress." Based on what Ms. King stated, a day of getting involved in nonviolent action for social and economic progress, how has the pandemic helped highlight the social and economic progress we've made thus far? And what areas are there that we still have work to achieve? We will start with you, Senator Sykes.
This pandemic has really challenged us. Of course, it's a pandemic, so it's worldwide, but it's really challenged us here in the United States and particularly in the state of Ohio. One way that we have really stepped up to the plate has been the way the government has worked to help us. Oftentimes we're critical of government, but government has put together an administration of these vaccines. If you can imagine having to organize this, over 7 million Ohioans have received the vaccination. And we've got the records. We've got them identified. So when they get the second shot, what kind of shot would be best for them? We have an extensive network of information about who's been vaccinated and who not. We got heat maps of showing different communities. We've got assistance, coordination with pharmacies and hospitals. We have provided, the federal government has provided over $15 billion additional dollars to the state budget in Ohio to help local governments. Unemployment benefits have increased. We've even extended just additional checks, some money in the bank to try to assist you. So we've stepped up to the plate to address this issue in a phenomenal way. Now, some of the problems is that, historically, we've had problems administering to our poor and minority communities. That has also been a problem, particularly initially with the vaccinations and the testing. We've had challenges to us as it relates to what are the boundaries and the responsibilities of public policy and making determinations about mandating masks or staying at home, or whether or not you can require your employees to wear masks. We've had some challenges there that we still have to deal with. But I would say overwhelmingly, we've stepped up to the plate to address this issue, and I think it's saving our community.
I would agree. I mean, the pandemic has been a huge challenge for every healthcare worker, every hospital healthcare system. The good out of it for me has been the amount of collaboration that our organizations have done together. Here locally in northeastern Ohio, we work together in zones across the state. As the pandemic began to rage back in March of 2020, last time we had a pandemic was 1918 in the United States, and everybody from that one was gone. There was no leadership that understand what we were getting into. In some ways, we had many plans in place that were excellent. In other ways, we had plans in place that weren't going to carry us through. It required competing organizations, especially hospitals, who like to compete for business in communities, Altman and Cleveland Clinic Mercy here, Akron General Cleveland Clinic and SUMA in Akron, and the UH, University Health System and Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland. We were put together in a zone along with the hospitals in Youngstown and said, you have to work together. Find ways to work together to solve the issues that are coming up on PPE, not enough masks and gowns for caregivers. So we found a way to do that. Come up with a plan for testing. Come up with a plan for surge capacity. The surge numbers that we were originally projecting were way above any hospital beds that we could have here in Stark County. So we're looking at places like Kent State Stark. We're looking at empty buildings, hotels, places where we might be able to put patients. The point here is that we collaborated together. Mercy Medical Center, Mr. Strauss there, myself, our teams collaborated daily. Every day we had a call during the first year of the pandemic to talk about how are we going to make sure that patient care is happening and we're doing the things we need to do. We collaborated very closely with the city leadership, Mayor Bernabe and Mr. Fonda Williams there, and Kathy Catazero Perry, Mayor Andrew Alliance, and Kathy Catazero Perry from Massillon to work together. And we collaborated together in ways that we had never done before with public health. And the one thing that this has shown is that we were not ready from a public health standpoint for a pandemic. And now we know what some of the things we have to do. But with Mr. Adams and the team in the Canton City Health and Mr. Norris from the Stark County Health Department, we have collaborated together. And I think that's the thing that comes out of it. And my question is, are we going to continue to collaborate when the pandemic's over on issues like behavioral health, because we have opportunities there, and issues like infant mortality, which we've been collaborating on for the last 5 to 6 years and making a difference there. So I think the collaboration is really good. On the other side, there are still some issues, and I think they're the same issues that the senator mentioned, and that, but we have teams of people who are working together. And we don't know where this thing's going to go, but we certainly have made a lot of progress. And certainly the work that was done to get as many people vaccinated as possible. And I'll just put that right out there now. If you don't have a vaccination, please consider getting one. And if you're up for a booster, get your booster, because the vaccination will wear off the effectiveness and the booster helps prop that up. And if you have questions and concerns about that, our local hospitals and health departments are here ready to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Collaboration, working together. We've made progress, but we still have more progress to make. So thank you so much. Round of applause for that set of questions. All right, you guys are looking a little too comfortable right now. This last question that we're going to give you, this one's going to make you think really long and deep. So I'm going to give you a moment to pause on this one. And for those of you joining us virtually, this is one that's going to stick for you. And for those of you that are here face to face, this is the one that we really want to pay key attention to. So I'm putting them on the spot right now. Take notes. Thanks to the generosity of our Stark community, we are fortunate to have several students joining us virtually for today's annual breakfast. And we want to thank you in advance for all of you that did student sponsorships for basically just supporting our students. We've been growing our students each and every year. I think we have about 50 students that receive student sponsorship. So a round of applause for our community in doing that. And our question to you, Senator Sykes and Mr. Roth, is, can you provide some imparting words of wisdom to them? So here's the question. As a community leader who's made a career of service, what advice would you offer our youth and young adults? And mind you, all of us in the room, we're all young too. All right, so we will start with Mr. Roth.
Well, first of all, congratulations to those that have received recognition this morning for your scholarships, and to those community members who have received recognition, congratulations. It's nice to be recognized for your efforts, and we're certainly happy that you're with us today. I would say a couple things to the students who might be watching today, or maybe would share some of the comments that they hear today with their friends at school. The first one is that there's a great quote by Walt Whitman. It's be curious. It's a short one. Be curious, not judgmental. And I think curiosity is something that, as a young person, you have to continue to be curious about things. Continues to be curious about your schoolwork and your learning and what you're getting there, and be curious about where you might work and what you might be interested in. But also be curious about other people. Be curious about other cultures and learn. We can learn from each other. The second thing I'd say, as I said it earlier, that you have the opportunity to make a difference every day. You should take that opportunity and be intentional about it. The last one I'd say is that you have the opportunities to become leaders. And not that maybe you won't be a CEO or a senator, but you'll be a leader in your own way. And leaders, I believe, have to have three things. And I learned this from one of my mentors. The first thing leaders have to have is a bit of vision. Where do you want to take something? Where do you want to take your life? Where do you want to take your family, your job? So a little bit of vision. Most importantly, in the middle, you have to have great passion. Senator Sykes, as we listen to him speak today, he has great passion for his public service. I have great passion for our healthcare system and what we do. Krista has great passion being with us here today as our moderator and all the things that she does in the community. But the last thing is the most important, and that's that as leaders, you have the opportunity to influence others. And so often leaders have vision and passion, but maybe they don't influence. Take the opportunities to influence. Your single voice, your collective voice is important. And through that, you can really make a difference. So vision, passion, influence. Thank you.
It's one simple thing that I think I'd like to convey to the up-and-coming leaders of tomorrow. And that is that you need training to help you realize your potential and maximize your performance. You need training. When you get on an airplane and they start out, they say, if the oxygen mask drops down, make sure to put yours on first before you assist your children. And I always thought, that's kind of backwards. Why don't you help your children? But if something would happen to you and you go unconscious, who is going to help your children? So in order for your children to be safe, in order for you to help somebody, you got to be prepared to do it. So it's important for you to get the proper training. And the more training that you have, the more ability, the more potential that you have, the more skills that you have, the better job you're going to get, the more money you're going to make, the more people you're going to be able to help. It's so important. I serve, as I indicated, as a director of an internship program. And I would suggest to you that I attribute much of my success to the 4 degrees that I have, the bachelor's, the 2 masters, and the PhD, because they give me a certain insight and connections and credibility, right? And ability to read, write, and talk, communicate. It's so important, regardless of what you major in, regardless of what you want to do in your career. Please make sure you maximize right now, particularly while you're unencumbered without a lot of other family responsibilities, to take the time that you have and focus on and concentrate on trying to maximize your potential to perform. One of the ways of doing it also is to volunteer. Volunteer is an easy way to get experience and internships. When you're in college, as an internship director, I've learned that research tells us that one of the best ways to enhance your resume is to include internships that you served in while you were in college. This is an opportunity for you to get work experience while you're still in school. So academic training and preparation will help you maximize your ability to perform, not just for your career, but to help all of us in this community. Thanks.
Wow. Round of applause. I think they were speaking to us too, because even though we have some young people here, we're all still young. We're all aging to perfection. Yes. So on behalf of the commission, Senator Sykes, Mr. Roth, thank you for this fireside chat conversation. Your servant leadership, your commitment to the community, the paths that you've walked have been an inspiration and still are an inspiration for all of us here today. We thank you for imparting these words of wisdom to all of us today, for sharing with our community some things that we need to be thinking about moving forward. And we just thank you for joining us for our 29th Annual Mayor's Breakfast. Another round of applause, please. We're going to get a quick picture with them standing here, and I'm going to turn it back over to our Master of Ceremonies. One second. I think he's going to get a picture real quick. Once again, another round of applause.
Thank you, Ms. Krista. Let's give her a rousing round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you to Mr. Roth and to Dr. Sykes, hospital CEO and state senator, respectively. We've heard a number of things today and words in particular that I think ought to become indelibly etched in our minds and in our spirits. And one of those that's right at the top is being intentional. Sometimes we just want things to work out and think that they'll just work out. But we've got to be intentional in working things out, particularly in the context of the life that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lived and has passed on the legacy to us. We've got to be intentional when it comes to making change. And one of the most important things about change, I think, is conversation, having conversation. Often we talk at people and have people talking at us. But it's important for us to converse with people. That means listening as well as speaking. And we've got a lot of work to do. And I want to thank again these gentlemen. Give them another rousing round of applause. I want to thank these gentlemen for sharing with us today just the fact that they come from different perspectives, a state senator and a hospital CEO, but they're sharing from their servant leadership position with us. One of the principles that Dr. King aspired to was top down and bottom up, because real change cannot occur just from the top, nor can it occur just from the bottom. Top down has to meet bottom up so that real change can occur. And so they've inspired us today to be a part of that, and let's continue to go forward in our sharing. Thank you so kindly for joining us today in this celebration of the life, and we celebrate Dr. King's birthday that will be on Saturday. And if my calculation is correct, Dr. King would be 93 on Saturday, I think. I'm going to act like I'm right anyway. And just think about all the time that has passed since he has passed. And where are we on the continuum? We're yet in the struggle. And I want to thank all of our commissioners who have committed themselves to work in the struggle. I want to thank, we want to thank the Doubletree for accommodating us in a scaled down version. They were quite accommodating. I want to thank all of those that have been involved. I want to especially thank Mark Bigsby. Let's give him a round of applause because he has been facilitating the technical piece with all of those that are there with him, and all of you. Let's give them a hand. I don't know their names, I'm sorry, but we want to thank them as well. Give me one more second, because I could not allow this time to pass and not recognize and give a shout out to a couple of people. One of them is sitting right back there, and that's Mr. Fonda Williams. He has been a part of the administration for the city of Canton since Hector was a pup. And he is now not leaving the city, as I understand, but he is moving to another position, but he's still in the struggle. And I want to just give a shout out and say thank you, sir, for your service that you have rendered, because he's oftentimes been a rudder on this ship called the city of Canton, Ohio. Also want to recognize Miss Betty Smith, absolutely, who heads up runs enrichment. She has been, and I want to say it like this, an outsider who has come inside and has made her place here. And we embrace you, we love you, and we thank God for you. And we know that over the last 12 months, you have had significant challenges, but we've been praying for you. And I was so delighted to see you today, because wherever enrichment is, we know that there's going to be a higher standard. And so we just thank you. Give her a rousing round of applause. And let me give one more shout out to our vice chair, Rabbi John Adlin. He's unable to be here because he's under the knife, whatever that means. And he would be here. He has served with us for some years now, and he's unable to be here, and I'm sure that he'll be seeing this. And so I wanted to give a shout out to him because of his commitment, and others as well. And so we thank all of you who are here, those of you who are watching virtually, and remember that all of us are being challenged. But if you don't have any challenge, there's really nothing to help you overcome. Challenges help us overcome, because it causes us to reach down deep inside to pull up and call on that what is in all of us. And so I want to thank God for the challenges that's before us, that he gives us the ability to overcome. Now, part B of that sermon, you can catch at People's Baptist Church. Thank you so kindly. Pastor Barbara Andrews will come and give the benediction. And might I ask those presenters to come up here and participants, because after she gives the benediction, we're going to go out singing "We Shall Overcome." And so if you'll come up here across the stage, we want to give a lasting picture, and that picture is of us in unity, inseparable, which is, by the way, our theme. So those of our presenters and commissioners, come on, if you would come up across the stage. And don't take a long time doing it. Now, if you please. Come on. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. And Pastor Barbara Andrews from Breath of Life Tabernacle will give us our benediction. And again, we want to thank all of you for participating with us this morning. And we hope that your day will be better because of it, and that you will be a part of the solution as opposed to the problem.
God bless you. Thank you, Dr. Arrington. Amen. Let us celebrate the work and legacy of the youth and the young adults whose lives contributed to the civil rights of all people. Let us encourage the creativity, energy, passion, gifts, and skills of the youth and young adults who surround us. Let us continue to pray for wisdom and for peace and pursue justice, hope, and love for all people. May the grace of Jesus Christ and the love of God and the communion of the Holy Spirit be with us all. In Jesus' name, amen.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Amen. Amen. Thank you and good day.